thank you all for coming and joining in Poets Out Loud meets Speakeasy. And yeah, hope everyone's keeping all right. I'm surviving lockdown, and we'll probably observe the usual sort of formalities of if you can mute yourself when you're not reading, so we don't get any interference or looping. And then if you want to applaud, you can, or just wave, which is the sign language version of applauding. Does that sound okay? Yeah?
It sounds good.
Cool. All right. Who wants to start? Annie, do you want to kick us off?
Yes, I could start us off. Yeah. Let me find my poems. They're in the boat.
Of course.
Boat. In the river.
So yes, Freya, who you can see has been dragged out of storage, and hopefully lockdown will finish before autumn, and I might actually get out in the lake with her. So I've been on a haiku page for May, and you've got to write a haiku a day. So I did 3 yesterday for Freya, and I stole the idea from a poem I wrote about her ages ago. So here you go, 3 haikus about Freya. Dead out of the water, hull husk tight over bleached bones, old boat left to dust, canvas skin carcass, vulture holes show ribs inside, dead out of the water. Old boat left the dust, hull cleaned and made watertight. Relaunch starts today. There you go. Oh, it's gone all quiet.
That was lovely.
Thank you very much. I'll put you on mute now so you don't hear my sandpapering.
Okay. Nick, have you got something for us?
Yeah, I've got 2 poems today, so we're reading one at a time. So I'll read you Cumbrian Gods. So it's another poem about the Lake District. I've got a lot of poems about the Lake District now. Hopefully I'll have enough to do a book soon, so that'll be good. So I'll read you Cumbrian Gods. Above the brooding clouds, beyond fields and towns, spiked pikes tower as kings of our county. Unequalled they rule, titanic forces have shaped and formed, and in the end become legend. Winter's Rubicon, masks, pass and peak unsurmountable, paths invisible with treacherous snow. An untouched wander, a step too far, for all but the hardiest of souls. Here heaven begins, distilled by the words of Salvi and Wainwright's Bibles, we conjure greatness from solid rock. Exchange hymns for windblast, stained glass for valley views, pilgrimage for mountain track. High on the roof of our world, we reach out and another begins. Great. So yeah, so that was the first one. Yeah, I'm looking forward to reading the other one out. It's nice to be here. I really enjoyed the first poem of Annie, so that was good.
Cool. All right. Roz, have you got one for us?
You can have this to start with, which is got longer than I thought it would, but quite silly. And it's to do with, well, it's sort of inspired by what's going on at the minute. Anyway, it's self-explanatory. It's called Only Boring People Get Bored. Yet another bored person who likes to complain they've nothing to do, moans lockdowns are torturous hell, and enforces their idleness as well. As I sit there with cup of tea, dozing off, watching crap on TV, and she snored, Only boring people get bored. If only you'd find something to do. You might make yourself interesting too. I've plenty of ideas you might like. For starters, you could go on a hike, learn about nature, flowers and trees, identify birdsong, species of bees. While you explore, only boring people get bored. The first step you should be taking is the easy one of starting baking, delicious cake or even bread. Then I looked at her weight and said, I was trying to be kind. Study might improve your mind. Bring its reward. Only boring people get bored. But my imploring her to action didn't hold much attraction. I tried, put flowers in a press, learn to sew, make a dress. Yoga might help you de-stress, or raise sponsorship for the NHS. Join us, they applaud. Only boring people get bored. I was taken aback when she said to me, I'm not bored, I'm quite busy. I've got a wife and a new baby. I caught up on sleep watching TV. I'm sick of your patronising advice. You drone on pretending to be nice. Suddenly she roared, you're the boring person who's bored. And that's that, sorry. I said to Val we had to make up the most boring poem.
It wasn't boring at all. Okay. Craig.
Mute my audio, you know. Hi, self-mute, I think.
Hello, everybody.
I'll just hang on a second, Craig. We've got Hillary's joined us.
Am I there? Can you see me?
We can't see you. Oh yeah, we can see you, and we can hear you as well.
Okay, good.
Hi. I'll just say, if you can, we've just started, so Craig's about to do a piece. Have you got something to read for us, though, Hillary? Are you just listening? Or?
I have got something. Yep.
Okay. Well, I'll find a slot for you in a bit, and I'll let you know. Is that okay? And if you can mute yourselves, and we'll let Craig do his thing. Fantastic.
Okay, this is a poem I wrote on the death of Princess Diana, which I've tweaked about 20 minutes ago to make it a little bit more appropriate for this. But I'd like to dedicate it to all the victims of COVID-19, particularly all the Cumbrian victims. There was a piece in The Guardian yesterday saying about Barrow was about the highest deaths per member of population of anywhere in the country, so it's particularly for Barrovians as well, this one. It's called The Lakes Remember. You have moved mountains to tears. Gushing streams cascade down craggy rocks. Slate-faced cathedrals rise up through morning mist. Tall sycamores bow in reverence. The quietly incessant breeze rattles their leaves. Down through the valleys to an ocean of grief, where the silent swell ebbs far and wide. A smooth round pebble could cause a ripple. Your sweet breath's whispers could hold back the tide. Great tsunami quell and subside. Alas, all the love in the world will not bring you back, and our Cumbrian hearts are empty. That's it, thank you.
Oh, wow, that last line was really powerful. Claire, have you got something for us? Yes. But you're muted from your microphone test.
As the controller, can you unmute her?
I'm unmuted.
It's more fun this way.
It's a contemporary art piece, you know. I'm just gonna play and I'm muted, and you've got to imagine what it would sound like.
It was great.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Anyway, this song is fairly new. Yeah, I was just basically saying that the writing I'm doing at the moment is a lot of nonsense writing, and I don't know if that's worth sharing, so I'm going to play a song instead. And it's the bookmark one. Keep me like a bookmark in your heart. I won't worry about not having anything to read when I carry you. Keep me like a bookmark in your heart. Won't worry about not having anything to read when I carry you. I see that others have written in you before. I promise I'll be careful. I won't write my name inside, but I'll hold you like you're mine. Keep me like a bookmark in your heart. I won't write my name inside, but I'll hold you like you're mine. The end. Thank you. Thanks so much, guys.
Thank you. That was great. Hillary, have you got one for us, Hillary?
Okay, here I go. Yeah?
Cool.
Called May Morning. Is that about the right? Can you hear me all right?
Excellent.
Is that the right level? Right. This early dawn, a flood of crimson shepherd's warning surges in across the northern Pennines to silhouette the phone mast, station walls, the rooftops, and the dye works chimney. And with the coming light, a wind that chills, carrying aromas of chocolate and caramel from the biscuit factory. On the silver birch, new leaves, a shimmering green coinage, excite each other and tremble with the morning. All this is fine and really quite operatic. But it's you I want to surge into me, to flood into me, while I shimmer and tremble in the aroma of your skin and your one careful cigarette. If you were here, we would move together with the increasing dawn, away to blue skies that take us out to sea, to the sea's calm waves and great expanses. Tell I was kind of missing somebody. What?
Oh, it was lovely.
What?
It was lovely. Thank you for sharing.
Okay.
Richard.
Yeah.
Hello.
I'm ready. I've got one called, I was thinking about it the other day, Social Distance, this is called, which is quite appropriate as we're sort of getting out of lockdown a little bit. Don't lower your resistance, but keep your social distance. For the good of the nation, go into isolation. There's no live sport on TV. Now there's a bug stalking me. And I think I've got a cough, so really all bets are off. A virus with a nice colour, and life is getting duller. I'd like to get more vocal, but now they've closed my local. Churches are closed and we can't hold hands. No concerts from any bands. There's nowhere we can flock down. The whole world's in lockdown. Air travel is off the menu. If you drive too far, then you get stopped, fined, and then sent back. Things are looking really black. I'm out at my insistence, but keep your social distance. Get inside now, someone cries. No, I'm allowed for exercise. Will things ever be the same? This is not just some stupid game, but we can all play our part, standing 2 meters apart. That's it. Thank you.
Okay, Jeanette.
Hello, everybody, and happy birthday for yesterday. Did you know it was Limerick Day?
Oh no, but that makes sense.
So I've had a little go to Limerick, and it's called To Limerick or Not. There once was a lass with a pen who tried to write limericks when it had been such a while, maybe it wasn't her style. I hope she won't write one again. What's that?
That's funny because I wrote some limericks, not even realizing it was Limerick Day. Oh boy. Will, have you got something for us, Will?
No, I'm just here to watch today.
Okay, it's just a spectator sport. Okay. All right. Alicia, have you got anything to read? Are you just spectating as well? You're on mute as well. Are you just watching?
Yeah. I'm just here to see what you're all up to. I haven't had a chance to prepare anything. I just got the message from you, so I hadn't really realised it was going on. But yeah, I'm here to see what's going on. What are you doing? Thanks
for joining in and
yeah.
Being the audience. That's great. Okay. Yeah. Oh yeah, we've got about 10 minutes of this section left.
But I've got to go now. I've got another Zoom session.
Oh. Good to see you, Drew. You take it easy.
Yeah, you too. Bye. Bye.
Cheers, man. Bye.
Good to see you, Drew.
I will leave.
You will, but you can hang around as long as you like. Cool. I don't know who's got the most advanced recording stuff now. Possibly Max or anyway. Val, have you got something for us, Val?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes. Right, well, didn't want to write anything about coronavirus this time, so everything's a bit random this time. Anyway, I was reading something about a zoo in China that are trying to breed pandas, and because they wouldn't breed, they called them picky. So the headline was "Pandas are picky when it comes to a mate." So this poem's called "Pandas are Picky." Pandas are picky when it comes to a mate. It's the conclusion of lengthy debate. You cannot set up a panda blind date and then expect to sit back and wait. Because pandas are picky when it comes to a mate. It's now been confirmed as a panda trait. Don't fix them up with a panda they hate if you want to increase the panda birth rate. Yes, pandas are picky when it comes to a mate. It's a fact I can confidently state. And although baby pandas would be just great, let's leave them alone and leave it to fate. That's it.
That's bad. Cool. Yeah, we've got about 8 minutes or so before we have to sign out. We'll all have to use the same login to come back into the meeting, but we can rattle on. David Bamford, have you got something to share with us?
Yes, I have. I'm sorry I was late. I had trouble getting in. I was trying for about 20 minutes to get connected to internet, and it failed and it failed. I've got some stuff. I've got some piece of news is that Bremerton poets are in the process of producing their second anthology, and a little-known poet by the name of David Bamford is in the process of producing his first exclusive anthology, Rhymes and Reasons. Anyway, that's the commercial. I'll read you something now. This is, it's another, I've written quite a lot of COVID-19 stuff because I found the time so inspiring. And this one is called Life in the Coronaverse. Horizons shrunk to a limit walkable within an hour, there and back again. When meeting others on the road or path, we do the Levite shuffle, the priestly sidestep, move aside, pass by upon the other side, create a gap 2 meters wide. Of course, we nod a greeting, smile, pass the time of day and comment on the weather. Today I should have been leaving on a pilgrimage, but like much else, it's now postponed, pending. Pending what? For moving on. We won't go back, we can't. The world has changed and we are not the same. When we get through, we shall be sadder, yes, but maybe wiser too. No?
Excellent stuff. Cool. Susan.
Hello.
Hello.
Well, seeing as we've only got about 5 minutes, and you'll obviously want to do another poem, Phil, won't you? Or have we not been round yet?
I haven't done one yet. I was going to do one at the end of this first section. So.
Are we at the end yet? Or not? No, we're not at the end, are we?
Not yet. There's a few people.
Heaps more to do. Well, seeing as it was Limerick Day, which I've just this second found out about, I've just this second written a limerick in honour of Philip for his birthday. Seeing as he had a surprise visitor yesterday with a mere trifle, which you can explain a bit. So there was a young boy named Phil who had a lockdown birthday thrill, a trifle, some cakes, but no trip to the lakes. But he said his surprise call was brill.
Thank you. Based on a true story.
Yes. I hope you like the cakes.
I did. Thank you.
Are they all gone?
They're not all gone. No.
Really?
There's a few left.
Really?
1 or 2.
Greedy boy.
It's my birthday. Okay. Max, have you got something for us, Max? That's about 4 minutes.
How many minutes have I got?
About 3.5.
I'll do a quick piece by Niels Fram. It's called Hammers. It's one of my favourites.
Okay. Woo! We're about to zoom out, so when it does it, just use the same login and we can all log back in. But I've got a quick limerick, which I didn't know it was Limerick Day, so I'll see if I can get this in before we time out. Don't want to risk no second peak. I'll be staying home all this week. The economy will bounce back, hopes Rishi Sunak, but I'm afraid the outlook is bleak. I got a more positive one, which I can do later on. Okay. It's going okay so far.
And I'm liking the music. Makes sanding so much easier. I get into a rhythm. I've never sanded so fast. Thank you, Max. I'll find my next one.
Music to send boats by. Cool, welcome back. Okay. Round 2. Annie, what have you got for us?
Philip, I've got my new book.
Hurrah! Woo!
Walk with a Stranger. Order one and I'll post it to you. Oh, I might deliver it on my motorbike with proper social distancing. But not this copy because I've touched it with my hands.
We could swap
The ones I'm posting, I have gloves and things on.
Poetry for Purposes on a bridge somewhere or something.
Yeah, I could just throw it at you. Hang on, I'm about to be attacked. Go away. I have a robin that's been persistent. So, next poem, pick a number between 1 and 22, somebody.
5, 10, 10.
10 looks popular.
10 looks
10.
Yeah.
Let's go for 10.
Right, we're going for 10, folks. Oh, it's an old one, but it's good. Oh, you know it so well. I've read it so often. Oh, but I had to put it in the book because the book's all about walking. Here we go. The damn dog. The damn dog is obsessed with paper and its consumption. I walk up the street, twitching and jerking in response to the lunging and lurching at the other end of the lead. Sweet wrappers, car park tickets, tissues, wet wipes, a particular favourite. Shop receipts, and once a fiver, I managed to wrest from his gate. The dachshund, eagle-eyed, low to the ground, shockingly strong, amazingly quick, permanently, selectively deaf, and utterly obsessed. Folks see me walk past from their living rooms, across the front garden, over the wall. They see me, but not him, not at all. They see me twitching and jerking and randomly shouting, "For God's sake!" and "Drop it, you loud bloody bugger, yeah." They see me, but they don't see the dog that's obsessed. Oh, poor Stephen, he's not with us anymore.
They're monsters. They're monsters, those little dogs. They're brilliant monsters.
He's such a cool little dog. We miss him greatly, not really.
He's immortalised in film.
He is. He's a bit of a star, isn't he, is our Stephen?
Yeah.
Right, I'm stepping back. I'm going back to sanding.
Cool. Nick, have you got another one for us, Nick?
Yeah, sure have. So my second poem's called Mountain Retreat. So another mountain poem. So yeah, I've got about 12 mountain poems now. So I'm starting to 12 fairly good ones, some rubbish ones that I've left out. So yeah, this one's okay, kind of middle of the range, I think. But anyway, we'll see what you think. So it's called Mountain Retreat. Gravity pulls, knees jar and set, stick, flick and stick. I am tumbling, unscrambling, warming as the task starts to unravel. I spy it exhale and gasp. Look down tavernwards, I dare not turn or contemplate, for here is where the madness lies. Spent and tired, I speed in free fall, away from arete and pinnacle, spraying grit and scree, sunsets, shadows building, bare hugged by stone, winds rush and whistle. Pain starts, but the pace quickens, an avalanche begins. Fleeing from the fear, hitting level ground, I run, sprint, splutter, down the track, boots ablaze, eyes narrow, I hurtle and hit the flagstones, the wooden door opens. And that's it.
That was really nice. I enjoyed that.
Good. So that one's about. I've got a lot of. I always fit. It's a strange one in the Lake District because you've always got these two kind of elation and exhilaration, but also fear as well. So it's the two things combined, and that was more about fear, but a lot of them are about elation as well. So it's a nice thing to write about.
Yeah,
it's nice to have those happy balances, or not happy balances, but certainly opposites, which is it's a good thing to write about. Anyway, I'll shut up now and let somebody else speak.
Cool. Roz.
So I thought I'd try this. It's a bit it's about as political as I get, I think. It's called The Decline of Athens, and it's sort of that's fairly obvious. I think it's got a few parallels, if you can see properly. It would seem that in our society we've put the I in the ascendancy, and the self-serving and selfish me thinks pleasing yourself makes you free. Though life viewed through this prism looks more like rampant hedonism. Now the political sophists rise, telling their barely plausible lies. They somehow manage to disguise as promises that appeal to the unwise. And Socrates, as the voice of reason, is accused of committing treason. And Hemlock, that metaphoric noose, has killed morality in a loud abuse. Through rhetoric, Pericles can reduce democracy to a tool for his own use. We consolidate his reputation and we vote for him to lead our nation. Regardless of how his position is viewed or individual choices skewed, we have equality and freedom imbued in the prevailing liberal attitude, so must accept our right to democracy is conjoined with mass stupidity. And that's that.
Good stuff. Where are we up to? Craig, have you got another one for us, Craig?
Yes, Philip, I've got one.
Cool.
This is a short poem, really. It's an unfinished one, and it's taken me 40 years to get it unfinished, so I don't think it's ever going to get finished, so you may as well have it. I've actually changed the title tonight, so that's a bit of progress at least. It's called Summer Rain. Oh, how I long for summer rain, and to remember a time when we held hands and ran barefoot through puddles and stinging nettles again. Made paper boats out of discarded poetry we wish we'd kept once the ink had run, and fished them out with sticks that dogs had tired of, and left them to dry in the evening sun. And that's it.
That was really
Why is
lovely.
it unfinished? Why do you think it's unfinished?
Worth the wait, anyway.
Probably because it doesn't say a lot, really, I don't think, but don't know.
Sounds maybe it does say more than you think. It
I
says
did
a
have
lot.
I did have some attempts to try to finish it, and they were terrible. So
Well, maybe it's finished.
Pardon?
Maybe it is finished then.
Yeah, I think it is now. Yeah.
Okay, it's a snapshot.
It's
I think it's
really
good.
good.
It was called September Rain, and It always troubled me that there's probably not a lot of evening sun in September as compared to the summer. So I thought I'll change it to summer, and then, because I think we're kind of hoping for a summer of sorts to be coming very shortly, but I think it's going to, as somebody said before, probably come in the autumn rather than the summer, but we'll see.
May well be in September.
I really like that. I think it is finished. I think it's good.
Thank you.
Thank you. Claire, have you got another one for us, Claire? Have you muted yourself again, Claire? Oh, I may have muted you.
Honestly.
I know.
If I was
Don't
my
keep
mark,
doing on
this
my
wouldn't
map.
be a problem. But, so I have stuff that's like, it's also kind of not finished, but this is what I've got. I know. It's a poem. Once a day I sit and sip, watch the world go round a bit, sigh one time and sigh once more and ponder what this all is for. Forget my worries and slowly think of how I am and how's my drink. Use the time to contemplate how still this moment is, then wait. The time to move and to observe what I can whilst undisturbed. Hug my mug and sip once more, my mind will stew, the drink will pour. Let my imagination pick how to build with unplugged brick. Enjoying the silence as my muse, I have time to focus beyond the views. My cup and I won't ask for more than a window to my mind's locked floors. Wander through the last few drops of my last sip, my chance to stop. Thank you.
Ooh. Hillary, have you got another one, Hillary? You're mute as well. Hang on. Oh, you'll have to do it, I think.
Okay, I've got a very, very short one. And it's called On the Objectification of the Male Politician Subjected to the Female Gaze. That's the title. And it goes, Rishi Sunak is a snack. And that's it.
The title was longer than the poem.
And it was his birthday yesterday as well.
No, I didn't know that.
Yeah,
Well, so we've had two about him so far. Maybe we get some more.
Better get a collection together and send it to him.
He might need it.
Yeah. Might make some money off of it. Richard.
Yes, I have another one.
Cool.
It's one I've been quite busy over the lockdown period, putting up lots of poems together and making books, which, got that one, I can read that. It says, and then to make matters worse, but I've got a poem in here called Lost and Found. And so it's basically about when you lose things, it's terrible. When you find them again, you're quite happy. There's a hole where the hole should be when something precious is lost. There's a gap, glaring emptiness. We slump back and count the cost. Lost love when it's unrequited. Lost cause when you're not invited. Lost cash when you can't afford it. And liberty, you cannot hoard it. When someone dies, the loss is hard. Losing your mind beyond your guard. Losing things is so frustrating. Relocation, worth the waiting. Get freedom, your shackles broken. Find a cause, words are spoken. Finding coins can leave you reeling, but finding love is the nicest feeling. That's it. Thank you.
That was lovely. Jeanette.
Right, I had a go at the Naporimo. It was a prompt a day throughout April from the Poetry Society. Some of them I really struggled with, and this one I did. It was writing a sonnet again, which I haven't done since school, which a couple of years ago. Anyway, here we go. Should I Google how to write a sonnet? Could searching bring confusion and distress? Should I compare iamb with iambus? My 5x2 pentameter a mess? Must I keep to strict rules, follow structure? Or could I find a rhythm of my own? Can heroic quatrain be heroic? Could my heroic couplet stand alone? Finding other forms I find frustrating. Shakespearean with Will's way, best for me. Shall I compare this verse with Petrarchan? The answer to that question's not to be. Searching sonnet writing was not easy. Results show doggerel style is best for me. And that's that.
Ooh. Val, have you got one for us, Val?
This is called Facebook Rant, and I think it's kind of self-explanatory. You turn up on Facebook like the proverbial bad penny with your political rant, another one of many. Well, I've had enough of your political views and the sarcastic comments you write on the news. I deleted your profile. What annoys me the most is all of my friends have shared your ridiculous post. So crawl back in your hole, get out of my face, go tweet on Twitter, get back to my space. You think you're so smart, you think you're so clever. Just get off my Facebook, don't come back ever.
Well said. David Bamford.
Is that about anyone in particular?
This is one. It's prompted by.
Yes, it was actually. Yeah.
That should be nameless, no doubt.
It's an ex-boyfriend.
Quite embarrassment, yes.
Okay.
Okay, David, please.
Am I up?
You are.
It's a question which I often ask myself as to why it is so difficult in English, British English at least, to find a term of address for a plurality of people. I have a deep-seated objection to the current guise. Not only do I find it un-English, it also seems imprecise. So this is it's a meditation on that kind of question. And it's called terms of address. What do you call a group of people whom you don't know? Guys, mates, or gentlemen, if they're all male? Does it depend on the relationship? Personal, commercial, transactional, or simply conversational? If they're female, will girls do? No, risky. Some love it, others will turn a sneer on you. Words acerbic. Who do you think you are? Ladies? I'm not a lady, I'm a girl, once said to me a female person, young, but of an age I could not quite determine. Sweetheart, poppet, darling, didn't seem quite right. I didn't like excuse me for fear that she would say, why, what have you done? Giving me to think she thought I'd farted, sneezed, or burped. We don't have terms for circumstances such as these. No messieurs, dames, damas y caballeros, Herrschaften, or the like. Perhaps it's better just to hold your tongue. You never know what you'll be hit with in return. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the trials and tribulations of the English language. Susan.
Hello.
Hello.
Right. Well, the sorry, somebody just flushed a chain downstairs, so there's a big whooshing noise in the cistern. Typical. The inspiration has been a bit limited with poetry writing, seeing as there's a kind of big subject of lockdown, there's the garden and the birdsong therein. But for one of the writing group, I set poetry challenges for form, and it was to do with your initials. You got the poetry form that matches your initial. So I got a sestina, and I set it myself. I could have took a sonnet, which was, I find, relatively achievable, but I set myself a sestina, so it was a challenge. So I don't know if it's any good, because obviously it's a bit repetitive being a sestina, and it's about lockdown, so again it's a little bit repetitive. I think the whooshing has died away, so here we go. We are in enforced lockdown. For how long? For how much more time? I stand in shock in my garden, quiet now, save noisy birdsong. Spring is turning their thoughts to love, while I endure isolation. Can I endure isolation while the days roll by in lockdown, surrounded by those that I love, with now the luxury of time to stop and listen to birdsong in the still, quiet morning garden? I am busy in my garden, not lonely in isolation. Days, nights, bookended by birdsong as I become used to lockdown, and do not notice fleeting time while missing others that I love. Friends, like family that I love, I talk to miles from my garden about our past and future time, not alone in isolation, but apart through stubborn lockdown, our silence broken by birdsong. Others comment on the birdsong. We are all infused with new love for the planet in this lockdown. Muddy hands, a planted garden, all alike in isolation. No longer are we slaves to time, but we are running out of time. Once more, traffic drowns out birdsong. Impatience trumps isolation. A selfishness replaces love. Dry soil, unwatered, barren garden, animal nature in lockdown. In lockdown, we need to take time to stand in the garden, hear birdsong. Love can endure isolation.
It's really lovely.
Fantastic. Cool. Max, got another piece for us.
So, my mum sews for a living, and she's been sewing face masks and what do you call the clothes that the people wear in the hospital? She's been making those, and she thought it'd be a good idea to make them out of more interesting fabric for other people, and she made this one for me, which is out of a piece of fabric my grandma bought when she was about 20, and she would be 90 now if she was still alive. And yeah, she made that for me today, and I thought I'd do an improvisation based on that. So here we go.
you very much.
Happy to hear that. That was great.
Wow.
I've got a couple of face masks that I've made out of exciting fabric.
You're in the dark.
In more ways than one. See,
Aha.
I'm magic. Wizard of Oz.
That's lovely.
And some gummy bears.
Gummy bears. Marvellous.
Yay.
Fantastic. And the
So
thumbs up
so James frighten the children.
with the gummy
Not
bear.
my children. Not our children. The other children. Any children.
Just in general. Okay. Here's limerick number 2 that I wrote not knowing there was the limerick day. A return to work seems a bit soon to me, particularly with uncertain levels of immunity. I'm keeping out of trouble by living in my bubble, sharing in our online community. Oh. Oh, it's great to see lots of fingers just go like that.
Here's to sharing.
Oh, absolutely. Fantastic. We've got about 7 minutes before we do the time warp again. So I might indulge in this short one. I did a writing exercise for an online group last week, and we had lots of people tuning in whose first language wasn't. I say lots of people. There were 6 of us, but there was people who were tuning in and their first language wasn't English. So we were looking at different words, and from 6 people, there was 2 of us who were English, and then we had Italian, Spanish, Norwegian, and Polish words as well. And we learned that Jadno Rojet means unicorn in Polish.
Right. Really useful when you come across one.
Yeah. So remember that, just for future reference.
Yeah.
Most unicorns speak Polish.
Apparently, yeah.
And we had I decided not to pronounce all the words because I'd probably end up causing some massive faux pas in a foreign language and then cause a diplomatic incident.
You never know.
But anyway, we cobbled these words together. That's a technical term for an exercise. And I came up with this. And the words were joy, wolf, inside, attention, avalanche, and unicorn. Because we got people to tell us what they meant in English. It's very short. If you're ever caught inside an avalanche of unicorns, pay attention to the wolf named Lupo within. They will guide you through a sea of joy that comes from the tumbling chaos of words. That's that.
That was great.
Thank you.
Yes. Perhaps we should try other words, other languages, like poems.
Oh yeah, we could do that for next time, maybe. Yeah.
Could be fun. Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. Well, we've got about 4 minutes before we time out, but Annie, have you got one for us to kick us off for the next sequence? And
well, you were going on about limericks, so I've literally just written one about this evening. This is how busy my life is. There was a young lady called, no, there wasn't, I'll start again. There was a young lady called Annie, whose tasks to do there were many. This evening she was totally multitasking with poetry, quizzing and kayaking.
Hey!
Annie's such a hard name to limerick with.
I'm probably going to have to head off after we sign out because I've got another thing at 9 which I need to prep for.
What are all these people who've got busy lives in lockdown?
Yes.
I don't even know how, but yeah. But it's been lovely. Thank you so much, everyone, for tonight and all your wonderful pieces.
You.
Thank you, Claire.
When we get back into Zucchinis, you must come to Zucchinis too.
From Glasgow.
Come to Glasgow. There's poetry nights on in Glasgow. There's a nice one on Tuesday nights that I've been going to. You should come.
I shall jump on Bertie.
We're not allowed into Scotland yet, apparently. Nicola.
Yeah, don't come right now, please. You guys stay. Stay away. I love you, but I love you at 6 feet apart right now. So.
I'm stepping back from the phone.
Cool. Well, yeah. Well, stay safe, Claire, and we'll hopefully see you at the next Speakeasy and or one of these and things. And yeah.
When is our next one? Is Speakeasy in 2 weeks?
It'll be the last Wednesday, which is the 27th.
No idea what day it is, Phil. I'm not even sure what month we're in, to be honest.
It's the day after the last Tuesday.
Yeah, yeah. That's good advice. Yeah, it's in 2 weeks' time, so it'll be on Facebook and on the usual avenues of stuff. So yeah. Are we all keeping all right? Anybody got any funny stories that they want to share to kill a couple of minutes while we wait to time out?
No.
Hello.
Nobody seems to want to have anybody coming into the Lake District in Penrith. Ha 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 ha.
No.
Not very funny, but kind of
Not
topical.
very funny. No.
They were saying that. They were saying that before the lockdown, though, weren't they?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
Can I just say, my friend who lives in Buttermere and owns a camper van is getting fed up with people daubing on her camper van, go home, because she's already at home. It's starting to really irk.
Yeah.
Yeah,
People
I'd imagine
don't like
so.
having trolleys enforced upon them. Here's
Exactly.
Topical thing.
Yeah.
She's going to have to put a poster up saying, I live here.
I live here. You go home.
Yes, you go home. I'm going to tell her that, but I live here, you go home. Awesome. Do we have to log off and log on again?
In about 10 seconds, I think. Yeah.
It's a long 10 seconds.
I know. Time is relative.
Bye, Claire.
I should probably leave you, Phil. So good night, all.
Oh, and goodbye to Richard as well.
Bye, Claire. Oh, bye,
Yeah.
Richard.
Bye.
Bye, Claire.
Speak
Nice
easy.
to meet you.
Take care, one and all. Stay safe.
And we'll see you next time.
Yeah, indeed.
Thank you both.
Is that a real arm, Phil?
I like this evening. It's like part like poetry and part like Springwatch.
It is. Let me. How do you spin the camera on this thing? Look, this is what I'm looking at the moment. If I can get the camera to spin.
Very nice.
And we've got sunset starting. So
Beautiful.
yeah, and then in about another half an hour we'll get the bats coming out.
Oh.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
I know we got some bats near, just in one of the houses down from me, and the river path's got quite a few bats zipping about as well. The Colgy path, but I think the Eden has as well. I haven't been there lately because it's not nearer to me. But yeah, I love bats. They're so cute.
There's usually some bats near the tunnel near the centre. There's usually some flying around there.
Yeah.
Cool. I always liked Enid Blyton's description of them as flitter mice.
Yeah.
It's one of my favourite ever books, and it got chewed by mice a few years ago, and I had to get rid of it. But it's Hedgerow Tales, and it was my favourite book. I read it so often. If you ever find it, get it.
I like The Adventures of Pip and The Children of Cherry Tree Farm by Edith Blyton.
I think I read Cherry Tree Farm. Oh, I don't know. It's years ago, decades ago.
With Tamerlan, the wild man who taught them all about animals. It's wonderful.
Yes, that's the one. That's the one. I'm just looking at my little friend is flying around, but I don't think he's going to come down. The swine. Are we all back?
Just about. I think Max is tuning in again.
I left my.
I was gonna try and show you the sunset, but I don't think it'll.
Are you not wearing pants?
Can you see the sunset?
There they are on the washing line.
Yes, we need to go moon as well.
You see the sea in the distance. You see Scotland in the distance, if anyone can work it out. I don't know how good the picture is. No, I think it's too bright, unfortunately, the sunset.
It was good just at the end when you tilted the phone up.
Oh.
To clarify, these are both my fake arms that I was waving with earlier. So, you know, my real ones are downstairs.
I was going to say, what are you doing with your real hands, Philip?
Yeah, well, need to know.
They're very good. They go all the way up to your shoulders.
Yeah. Cool. Welcome back. Annie, do you want to read us another one from your book?
Yeah. I'll do you. I've got so many haikus. God, I've been doing one every day. I'll throw two together. Because they both involve the dogs.
A haiku. Two.
Haiku two haiku. Yeah. Anyhow, the first one was Robinson, who you've just seen, was dreaming the other day, and all twitching, and his tail was wagging, and it was quite good to watch. So I wrote for him. They say dogs don't dream. So what is this joy he shows? Surely he's dreaming. And then the other one, I was sat in the garden and both the dogs were out and it was all nice and quiet until the blackbird arrived. And I've got this blackbird that comes onto the table to eat. And all you could hear in the background of the video I shot was this of him tapping on the table. So for that I wrote, dogs doze and I sit. His tap-taps enhance the peace. Defence shields lowered. And that's it. Thank you.
Wonderful.
Philip, can I go next? I'm gonna have to go because I'm really shattered for getting up for work and everything.
Sure.
So
you can be a queue jumper.
yeah, I'm sorry everybody.
It's all right.
But
Getting up at 5 in the morning to keep people away from shops in.
I know. It's got to be breathed on by people. Great. Well, I'll do my limerick that I've just written for Annie to rhyme with Annie, you know? Okay.
Yay!
Yay! So, and because of the whole we don't know what to call ladies thing, so there was a fab person named Annie whose poetry really was canny. We hear it in stages from random choice pages. But hurrah! She's produced a miscellany.
That's brilliant. That's so cool.
Kind of rhymes. And advertising too. What more could you ask for? There you go.
I love it. I love it. And I feel I'm quite emotional now, Susan.
Oh. But I'll have to say goodbye. Well, au revoir, not goodbye. I'll have to say au revoir, and I'll catch up. I'll watch the YouTube thingamajiggy when Philip thingamajigs it.
Oh,
and,
yeah, the edited version.
Yeah. So I'll see you all next time, and keep poeting, keep safe.
Thank you, Susan.
Bye, 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 bye.
Keep up all the good work.
I'll find something new to sand for the next one.
Hooray! Don't sand the dogs. Okay. Bye.
Bye. Okie dokie. I was going to say Nick, but he seems to have disappeared. Roz, have you got one for us?
I've always got more, you should know that.
Fab.
I keep writing them, I'm such a pain.
No, it's great. Keep doing it.
This is a simple rhyme. Perhaps I'm a literary fraud who writes poems that leave people bored, probably because the rhymes I choose are the easiest ones to use. Though my poems are soporific, I'm alarmingly prolific. I can always think of a rhyme to fit any event or time. Whatever circumstance I'm in, I always come up with something, but any small imperfection could indicate misdirection. And though this rhyme is written simply, it's really a poem about irony. And I did think of saying, if you disagree, well, that's really irony.
That was great. Fabulous. Okay. Craig.
Yeah, I've got, if it's all right, can I do a bit that includes 2 poems? They're both
okay.
short. It's just, I've been writing, keeping the coronavirus diary, and I'm on day 46. I didn't think I'd probably get longer than a week, so I've been managing to keep it going. And a couple of weeks ago, I thought I'd better write an introduction to it. And as part of the introduction, I thought I'd dedicate it to a father I never knew, who's called William Davidson, or Billy, age 26. So the first poem's called Billy by Craig Davidson. So again, just a couple of weeks ago, I wrote this. It's very sad, and so I do apologise for that. Billy. I was married by the time I was your age, Billy, but by then you'd fathered a child. And shortly after you left us, Billy, me and my mum, your bride. You left me no memories to savour, Billy, yet you were so meek and so mild. I don't know why you left us, Billy. Natural causes, they said. No, suicide. Day 1. Sunday was a funny one. I came across the poetry anthology, Poetry for a Purpose, Saving the World with Words, from Cumbria Press. I think we might have well, we've only got one person here now from Cumbria Press, but we did have 2. An anthology that I've contributed to, available to buy for a tenner on Amazon. There's a plug. I don't have my free copy yet, and I didn't know it was available to buy or pre-order now. I also discovered that I appear to have been banned from a local Facebook group to which I've been regularly contributing photos recently after my last pic of a beach-stroke cloudscape apparently breached guidelines. No worries. I got up for a drink of tap water in the early hours of this morning. It tasted like no water I've ever drunk anywhere in the world, ever. It was sweet, but not in a good way. I Googled what it might be. Calcium and zinc were most likely the cause. I think that this may be to improve our immune systems. Does someone have our back? It was back to normal 2 hours later. Weird at any time, but scary and to be expected in equal measure now. I'm now attempting Facebook isolation stroke lockdown. No posts or messaging, just this type of thing if there's anything interesting to report. This is my page. I don't expect many people at all to read it. And I'm not looking for anyone to comment or like. It's a me thing for me. I've never kept a diary ordinarily, but these are extraordinary times. I would say stay safe, but I don't really know what that means anymore. Stay sane might work better. I've got a poem, a variation on a theme by Rilke by Denise Levertov. The Book of Hours, Book 1, Poem 1, Stanza 1. A certain day became a presence to me. there it was, confronting me, a sky, air, light, a being. And before it started to descend from the height of noon, it leaned over and struck my shoulder as if with the flat of a sword, granting me honour and a task. The day's blow rang out, metallic, or it was I, a bell awakened, and what I heard was my whole self saying and singing what it knew. I can. That's it, thank you. Thanks for your patience with that.
Wow. Thank you for sharing.
I don't know if that'll breach copyright or anything. It's a bit of a minefield, the copyright thing, but so I don't know whether if you want to miss that last poem out or what. For see.
We'll see what happens. Cheers. Sorry, Hilary.
That's a funny bubbling sound. Can you hear me?
Yes, but you sound like you've got a woodpecker or something.
No, I just wanted to say I really like those last ones. Yeah, that was lovely. Thank you.
Jeanette?
All right, this is another one that was prompted from the Porrimore one. It was the 17th of April and I said to take a virtual tour around an online gallery. So I did look around the Van Gogh Museum in Amsterdam and I found this painting here. I don't know if you can, it's maybe a bit too bright on the iPad, but it's Piles of French Novels. So this is what I wrote. Eyes open to an unknown, eyes drawn upon bent books like a faithful friend, page wagging, pleading looks. Life painted as a reader, truth written with each mark, tales within the brushwork, reading beauty in the stark, perspective upon canvas, invitation to an ode, fables of humanity along unvarnished road. And that's that.
Excellent stuff. You got one for us, Val?
Yeah, this one is another one inspired by my walks around the shore, called Lemon Meringue Sky. A mass of white cloud over bright yellow light. A lemon meringue sky is what we have tonight. A heavenly creation from the gods up above. A lemon meringue sky that you just have to love. Oh, where is my camera? I should have brought it with me. A lemon meringue sky that you all need to see. So I turn round for home as I say goodbye to the beauty that is my lemon meringue sky.
Great. David.
I've got one more here. This is a sonnet. It's called Green. I was struck the other day on regular walks about the amount of green around the place. It's absolutely fantastic. Quarry Bet Wood between Brampton and Lanicross, and I'm just overcome by this huge profusion of green, and it's called Green. Spring's mantle drapes the trees in shades of green. Proud beeches stand majestic, casting shade. A froth of villas and roofs in leafy glades. Becks gurgle, laughing over shaded stones. The dipper hops and bobs with a flash of white. And bluebells coyly raise flirtatious eyes by woodland paths to greet the walker's sight. Songbirds raise voices in glad harmony, and sturdy lambs now frolic in the fields as meadows stretch out to horizon's line, and glorious nature her abundance yields. Oh, spring, the season of refreshing green, in you by all is nature's splendor seen. Little sonnet for you.
Thank you. We're back to Max then.
Hello, can you hear me?
Hello, yes we can.
Wicked. So some of you may know I'm in a punk band called Working Class Artists, but In this quarantine, I wanted to start writing stuff that wasn't so angry anymore. And so I've started writing more piano-focused stuff. And I wanted to get back to my kind of musical theatre roots. I used to do a lot of musicals down in London when I was a child, where I used to live. So yeah, this is a more musical theatre focused piece with singing. So I hope it picks up my voice as well. And I hope you enjoy.
Cool.
Another log page to fill. Another frustrated ill feeling. Another time yet left alone. Another time yet still to see. I know it's not forever. Tell me once more what it is. Tell me once more how it is. Tell me what's real, which feel, which silent look should I give? Or how about, better yet, another wrong way to think? I know it's not forever, but it certainly feels like it's going to be. Yes, it certainly feels like it's going to be. Blistered and broken my brain. Too many is still left inside. When will I reach a more stable form? When will I reach a more stable form? I know it might not be now, but maybe, just maybe, not now, but maybe, maybe, so maybe, just maybe, tomorrow.
Thank you very much.
Well done, Max. That was great.
Thank you, man. That's great.
That was fab. Well done, Max.
Wow. It's always difficult having to follow that. I've got another limerick. I didn't even know, as I said, I didn't know it was the limerick day, or, you know, but here we go. I was a bit concerned with some of the relaxing of the lockdown measures and things. I thought maybe we were a little bit ahead of ourselves here, but anyway, this is this one. Don't yet come and visit the lakes. These could be deadly mistakes. To swamp our healthcare just wouldn't be fair. So stop, go home, slam on the brakes.
Yes, yes. Oh gosh, I feel like going to the border and putting that on a placard for people to read. I'm gonna go and daub it all over the place.
It should be on all the road signs, you know, all the village signs and town signs.
Yes.
And tell them that there are no toilets open anywhere. It doesn't bear thinking about.
We shall call them all bears.
Yeah.
You know what they do in woods.
Yeah. Cool. How are we doing? Do we want to wrap up there, or do we want to do one more last round of quick fire poetry shenanigans?
I'm done.
Okay. What do you say, Annie?
I've got another haiku. God, I've got lots of haikus.
So many times recently, Annie's gone, I'm hosting this poetry event in Cockermouth, but I haven't written anything, so you can all do the stuff. And now this time, it's poetry coming out of everywhere. It's great.
It is. I'm going to, I've got, oh gosh, I've actually got 4 left. 3 of them are about summer, well, about May. So the first one, I've been reading about the Greek gods. Oh God, the Greek gods are so much fun. So the first one is, Maya brings colour, Hemera wakens ether, Helios drives by. So that was for a nice May day with the colours. And then I was out with the dogs, and the local hay fields are getting good already. They're growing fast. So I did a little play on that. Sun, wind and barley dance in a light fandango in the keep out fields. And oh, there's Mr. Patches. And then we've had the Swifts arrive here. So we've got black dot high above, slices down, curves and arcs around. Swift comes summer now. So yeah. And then I'll finish off. I had a bit of a thing about VE Day. I thought VE Day had been a little bit hijacked and kind of steered slightly away from what it was. So I sat in my own garden and was thankful for having the garden for what my granddads and everybody else did back in the war. So the silence hijacked. I stood behind the front door. My thank you still heard. And that's me. Done, dusted. Thank you.
Cool. Roz.
Right, you can have this silly one called reactions. A small problem I've been having. I've developed an allergy that itches horrendously. I have now found its source. It's embarrassing, of course. It turns out that it's drastic to be allergic to elastic. When the rash becomes bad, my bras start driving me mad. Knickers get uncomfortable too. What on earth am I to do? Wander around in the nude, run the risk of looking lewd, without a chance of kinky sex, as I'm irritated by latex. Anyway, you follow my gist. I'll have to say I'm a feminist and adapt their policies so far as protesting by burning my bra. So the not wearing underwear becomes a principled affair. Thank you.
That's brilliant.
Sorry.
Oh boy, oh boy. Yeah.
I feel that you're a hidden character sometimes, Ross.
And sometimes not hidden.
Sometimes not
No,
hidden.
I've kept it hidden for years, but you lot bring it out.
Oh, it's quite nice being a bad influence.
Yeah.
She's been a bad influence on me. She has, yeah.
That's something to put on the poster for Poets Out Loud. A bad influence.
Yeah, us poets are bad.
Craig, what have you got for us?
I can give you this poem from day 5 of my coronavirus diary. I wrote this poem a very long time ago, decades ago. It's always seemed too dark and depressing to have shared before now. This poem's time has finally come at last. It contains a glimmer of hope in the final verse. It's called Grey Black Shadow. These are dark, ordinary days. Nothing stands out in their bleakness. The world has failing sight, but no one will hold the torch to lead it from this downtrodden path to despair and self-destruction. Night closes in fast on our twilight permanence, but all lack the urgency to deal with our predicament, and we stumble into darkness and we fall. Out of the blackness, eventually the sun will rise again, but on my life and yours, no shadow will be cast. No reminder of our insignificance will stain the pure brilliance of this bright new day. Thank you.
Very nice. Very, very nice, Craig. Thank you.
Jeanette, have you got another one?
Mute. I've got a little haiku. I wasn't going to do a lockdown or a COVID one tonight, but here goes. Anyway, locked down, not locked out. Turning the key, unlocking what's on our doorstep.
Oh, wow.
That's very good. I like that.
Yeah, fabulous. Cool. Val, have you got another one for us? Oh, okay. David, have you got one to share?
Yes, I've got one to share. It was suggested for our second Brampton Poets Anthology that we concentrate on poetry with the Cumbrian winter. They're called Howgate. Frost casts an icing sugar dusting on morning surfaces. Slanting sunlight highlights humps and furrows. Slashed wounds of darkness scrape charcoal-coloured clefts of gill and force. Recumbent elephants, humped flanks soak up light beneath an ice blue sky. Green and brown below, salt and pepper dashed with sheep. Through burnished copper bracken to beige above, where grass, scorched and burnt by winter's blowtorch, slumbers in late hibernant state, waiting for a sigh of spring to coax it back to life. There we are. That's a good night poem.
Thank you very much. A late attender here. Max, have you got another thing for us?
I could do something.
Yes. Cool.
So it's got a bit dark. Okay. I'll do something a bit more fun.
Oh, so you've got about 5 minutes because we've got that
excellent.
timer on again. So.
Shan't be too long. I'll just do a play. I've been practicing my polyrhythms on the piano. For anyone that doesn't know, a polyrhythm is one rhythm and another counterpoint rhythm played differently. So I'm going to be playing a 6/8 time signature in my right hand and a 3/4 time signature in my left hand. So I'm still practicing this, so it could be a bit fun. It could go awfully, but we'll see how it goes.
Okay, and I'll just say we've only got about 4.5 minutes, so we'll all have to log back in once it clicks off. But yeah, right. Okay. Cheers, mate.
There you go.
Thank you.
Wow. Wow, that was so cool.
Wow.
Very good.
Wow, that's great. Hello, Tony. How you doing? Good.
Hang on. Hi.
Hi.
Good to see you all again.
Tony.
Hi.
Hi.
Good to see you all.
Are you wanting to read some stuff, or are you just listening?
Can do one.
Okay, we've got about 2.5 minutes before we clock out. Do you want to do it before, or do you want to wait until we come back in?
A bit later on, thanks.
Okay. Well, we're I think we're sort of winding down a little bit, but I've got this one that I can do. Last time we did one of these speakeasy things, we had people held up a word on a piece of paper, and then we had about 25 or 26 words. And I challenged myself to sort of try and get it into a piece, and we'll see what happens. This may click off before I finish, so we can always pick this up in the next bit. I awakened discombobulated from a dream about a pub. Momentarily, the chaos has erroneously slipped my mind, like being struck across the cranium by a hefty club. The magic of birdsong and the sfumata accompanies the bright sunlight of midday. With the help of a friendly low drone, my senses slowly drain away. With a quick wiggle of your woggle, a blast of air, and my last remaining goggle. All Boy Scouts do their dib-dib-dob, working very hard on their hunter-gatherer bushcraft job. Survival skills track in vain an antelope, a surprising scheme, with success a microscopic hope. Instead, you settle for biscuits covered in chocolate and can of tinned tomato, or is that tomato, that I quickly ate, all washed down by juice of pineapple and a pint of gin, left me in a merry state, an ear-to-ear wide grin, and so the continuous humming thunders on at each and every turn. Those strange gastric rumblings are of no concern. If I can stomach it, I know my belly can. It is well weird, so I tell my pelican. And that's that.
That was great, Phil.
It's really written by everyone who
have to
said
leave
the
you.
words.
Very good.
I've got to go put the chickens to bed now, so I'm going to say goodbye now.
Thank you, Max. It's been really good tonight. It's been great. We might as well, if anybody's got any other maybe one short one, and if Tony, you've got something you want to read, we can start with Tony if you've got something to hand. Does that sound all right?
Yeah, fine.
Sounds
Yeah.
good.
Yes. Well, I don't know if you don't had any of these so far tonight, but you probably have. It is a COVID 19 poem, and it is something I really saw just a few weeks ago in April time. This was, and I was out on my hour of exercise, and I saw this, and the poem is called Vroom, Vroom. Right. It was the quiet spring, the month of Sundays one, when all of the hunkering down left only a trickle of traffic. Blackbirds and thrushes sang as if amazed, and the blossom foamed from airy trees. Out one day I heard a snarl, an old Skoda gold reed spray with a souped up engine came hammering up the hill. Vroom, vroom, big cat roar to shock our lockdown road. Because he wanted to turn, and just because he could, the young man at the wheel, he yanked the car sharp left into the care home forecourt. It rounded a flowerbed island, regained the road and sped down the hill towards the town as if chased by hellhounds. It was all over in 30 seconds. In the care home, under siege. The battle against the odds went on, come what may. Peace again as I walked on to use up my allotted hour. Bad behavior.
Yeah. Oh dear. Okay. Jeanette.
I haven't got another one ready, I'm afraid. Sorry.
That's okay. You've given great value tonight, so it's been really good.
Thank you.
Well, Roz, have you got one?
I've got one that I did, I think it was for the very last Poets Out Loud we did, but there were so many people there, I never had a chance to read it, so it's never been read yet, so you can have this if you like. It's called Making a Meaning of Life. Like all living things, we're designed to die, but since we have reason, we tend to ask why are we here, for what purpose? Some may try to say life has a meaning, but that's a lie. When a leaf falls from a tree, does it know where it has come from or where it will go? Or that it will go even into my compost and will help me to grow my crop of broad greens and new potato. During this process, it will feed a variety of fungi and insects and birds before me. So this leaf's led a good life, you must agree, although it could also help you to see our minds create any meaning we've found, because if nothing with understanding's around, when this leaf's tree falls and hits the ground, there can be no comprehension of sound. Thank you.
Very clever.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
I like that, Roz. I like that.
Oh, thank you. But I don't think it was very clever, really.
Oh, yes, it is. It's
I thought it was really clever.
Yeah, very much so.
It's
the thought process behind it. It's brilliant. Wow. Craig, have you got one more for us?
Yeah, I can give you a bit of prose if that's all right. Just a single sheet.
Sure.
Okay. Day 2 of my coronavirus diary. This is Monday, 30th of March, or at least that's what the laptop says it is. I do the 30 days half September thing to check if it's 1 or 2 days to 1st of April. I think I'll give it a miss this year. People believe in anything. I can still taste the 3 a.m. water, sickly sweets, cloying to the roof of my mouth. I would have sworn it was just me had I not had 3 attempts from cupped hands, leaving the tap to run a little longer each time. My wife Lorna said I should ring the water company, but I couldn't be bothered to wait 5 hours for them to refuse to admit whether or not they were poisoning me. We've all got better things to do with our time. I lie. I'm still alive, I think. I made a purchase today, 3 poetry books that I'll probably never fully read. They'll go on top of the ones I've never read from birthday and Christmas, next to the pile of unplayed CDs I bought, but that is reducing. I briefly flirt with trying to get the youngest to listen to Tangerine Dream, but all attempts are deemed futile. Well, it's her life that's not going to be changing, not mine. Talking of Tangerine Dream, I get a like from their leader, Thorsten, for a comment I made below some potential album artwork I submitted, saying I can still dream. They're not too big or too busy these days to need to hire someone to press the button, and there were no home computers in the days of 70s vinyl anyway. My cup is half full. It's the small things. I've stopped watching the news. Tuesday is not expected to be as exciting. That's it, thank you.
Oh, I like that. Tangerine Dream. I'm so going to Google them again tonight. Haven't heard them for years.
That was very cool.
Oh, I've got about 200 CDs. If you want to borrow some time, Annie, you're more than welcome.
I haven't got a CD player.
Oh, I can lend you one.
Okay. Annie, have you got one? You can, I think, maybe round out the evening with one.
weirdly, I have. It's in the new book.
Hooray! Can you get the book online anywhere?
It's not quite on Amazon. I've got a stack here that I'm mailing out to people. I think there's about, I don't know how many's left actually. I've posted a lot and I've delivered a lot. So yeah, but after Sunday, I just thought, this is so I can barely see it. It's nearly dark down here. So you've heard it before, but it just seems so relevant after Mr. Johnson on Sunday. If you please, am I the man who changed what was right to what was right? Or am I the son who followed without question the bidding of the man who changed what was right to what was right? Or am I one of the strangers who told the man who changed what was right to what was right, what was right? No, I am not the man, nor his son, or one of the strangers. I am, if you please, the donkey. Thank you.
Very wicked.
Thank you.
You. Cool. I think that's a good note to sort of wrap things up on, if that sounds okay to everybody.
Sounds great. It's been a lovely evening. Thank you again, Phil.
Well, thank you, Annie, for doing Poets Out Loud, and that's the reason we're here. So,
is there a post on Facebook about how to get the book?
Yeah, I've got it on my. It's on my personal page, and it's on the Cumbrian Poet page, and I will eventually get round to putting it onto the Poets Out Loud page.
Right. Well, I will get one anyway. Thank you. Yeah.
Oh, thanks, Tony. They're £6.50. They're not big, but they're £6.50, and it's all about things I see walking around Cockermouth.
Worth every penny.
Oh, thank you, Tony.
I bet.
Cool.
Thank you very, very much, Philip, again.
Oh, thank you.
Thanks for your wonderful hosting.
Give yourselves a round of applause for all the reading and listening and everything you've done very patiently.
Thank you. Happy birthday, since we didn't say it before.
Oh, yeah, yesterday, thank you, yeah. Oh, yeah, that was lovely, all the limericks and bits and pieces that suddenly appear dedicated to me. That was a bit funny. And then, Annie, you had one dedicated to you as well.
Yes. I need Susan to send me that. I'm going to put it on a T-shirt.
Fabulous. She'll be thrilled. Cool.
Good night, everybody. See you soon.
Stay safe and well.
Yeah. Stay safe. Stay well.
See you in a couple of weeks, guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bye then.
Take care. Bye.
Bye. Bye. Bye.